3 ways that I lowered my flake rate to literally 0. I did not get flaked on a single time in 2019, which is insane considering the amount of women I met in 2019, the amount of women I dated in 2019, and the amount of women that I approached in 2019. I did not get flaked on a single time in 2019. I'm gonna give you these 3 ways that I use and that you can use personally to lower your own flake rate. I don't know if you could get it down to 0. I mean, I hope you can, right? But I've been doing this a long time, so it's not like, my first year in game, nobody flaked on me. No, I mean, we all go through that, right? Right, guys? It's really, really frustrating when you meet a cool girl and then all of a sudden, even though you think that you had a connection with her, she flakes, right? So let's jump into tonight's coaching video. So the first way that I lowered my flake rate to 0 in 2019 is this is something I've done for years and years anyway. I only go for targets that I feel a natural chemistry and connection with. Okay, because you're gonna meet a lot of hot girls out there. You're gonna see a lot of hot girls out there. And even though they'll be hot, a lot of times you're not gonna share a connection with them, right? You're not gonna share, you're not gonna feel any chemistry with them. This is why I'm completely against online game, because you cannot judge those things online. Besides the fact that a lot of these girls on Tinder, Bumble, and all these other dating apps, they take these weird ass angles like this and like these close ass shots of their eyeball. You cannot tell what this girl actually looks like. And a lot of you guys, you spend like weeks texting and messaging this girl, and then you finally get her out, and then you meet up with her and you're like, shit. Whereas when you approach girls in person, like I do, I'm a cold approach pickup artist, right? I'm an old school cold approach pickup artist. When you do it in person, you see right in front of your eyes what you're getting, right? It's the old classic, what you see is what you get, right? When you approach a girl in person, what you see is what you get. She can't give you these trick angles of her eyeball or take these high ass shots to make herself look thinner. No, what you see is what you get. This is why I'm all for cold approach in person. But beyond that, more importantly than what you see is what you get, more important than that is that you get to automatically find out whether or not you actually have any chemistry beyond each other, right? Between each other, I should say. You get to find out right then and there if there's any chemistry. And if there isn't, then you could just be like, oh, it was nice meeting you, and hey, good luck to you, right? And I've done that with a number of girls where it's like she looked hot from, a distance. I got closer and closer, and I was like, let me see what this chick's about. I say hi, I want to see, I talk to her a little bit. I'll ask her name, where you're from. And usually just from even just a few questions, just talking to her, it's like, just my gut instinct can sense yeah, I'm not really feeling anything there, and if I feel like even just a slight spark, I'll go a little further and I'll talk to her a little bit longer. But if there's really nothing there, there's really nothing there, right? But the point is, you want to approach anyway to find this out. When it comes to meeting girls that you actually do have a connection and chemistry with, okay, when you meet a girl like that, I mean, the game becomes a lot easier. You don't really have to struggle to remember oh shit, what do I do next? What do I say next? How do I raise my value in her eyes? I mean, a lot of the game will come naturally to you. Okay? If you've done enough approaches, it will just start to come natural to you. And so that is the first way that I lowered my flake rate in 2019, and even before that, is I really just go for targets that I feel a natural chemistry and connection with. You have to be an abundance mentality, guys, because you know what? There are beautiful women out there everywhere. Just because you missed one, don't think it's the end of the world. Oh my God, I'm never gonna see a hot girl again. No, there are tons of them out there. You have to be in that abundance mindset, right? A lot of you guys don't go out enough. You have to go out more, right? You have to approach more. And the more you go out, the more you approach, the more you'll realize hey, beautiful women are a dime a dozen. They're everywhere. Because they are, right? They're literally everywhere. But in order to lower your flake rate to 0, you want to go for women, you want to go for targets that you feel that natural chemistry and connection with. Even for you guys who aren't that experienced, I guarantee you do see girls from time to time, whether you might be at like a Starbucks, or you might be grocery shopping, or you might just be out and about, and you'll just see a girl and you'll be like, wow, there's something cool about this chick. I don't know what it is, but yeah, there's something I like about this girl, and you've never met her. That's what I'm talking about. You want to go for girls like that. You're not going to see them every day, but when you do see them, you want to go up and talk to them. And just by doing that alone, and not trying to go after like every single hot girl just because she's hot, but just kind of filtering a little bit more, will lower your flake rate dramatically, right? Because a lot of guys, what they tend to do is go straight to the bars and clubs, and it's like they hit on anything that's hot. And the girl might give you her number, but she'll never respond to you. She'll never text back. And even if she does text you back, anytime you try to ask her out, she'll avoid the question, or she'll ghost you, right? It's because you're, beyond just game. It's a lot of it is because you don't share that natural chemistry and connection with her. Okay. Now the number 2 way that I lowered my flake rate to 0 in 2019 is that I choose my venues wisely. Okay. And again, this is something that I have done for years and years. So I don't want to just say, oh, it's in 2019 alone. I've been doing this for years. I choose my venues wisely. I tend to go to venues where there are certain venues that I gravitate towards where I've met cool girls before, right? And you'll find this too. There are certain cities, certain venues, and certain areas of town that you just naturally feel more comfortable with, and you'll do better there than other venues in other cities and other places. Okay, and you have to find out which of these cities, venues, and places works best for you. And the only way to really find that out is to actually go out. This is the problem, is a lot of you guys don't go out, so you don't know yet, right? But I've been going out forever, and I've gamed in just too many cities to mention, right? Too many cities to mention, but there are certain places that you'll do better than others. Even when I go to Vegas, for example, a lot of times I take trips to Vegas. There are certain hotels, certain casinos, certain venues in Vegas that I do better than others, and I tend to just kind of gravitate and focus on those venues that I've done better at in the past, right? I don't really go to clubs anymore. At times I'll go a few, like once or twice a month, just to keep my own skills sharp. Usually I'll go solo just for a few hours, just to make sure that I keep my skills up to par, because I'm still out there teaching students, and I'm still, doing a lot of coaching videos for my mastery program. And so I still go to clubs for that purpose, but I really don't go there looking for to bring in any girls that I want to, date seriously or even casually, right? Clubs are just not the place for that. I usually recommend avoiding clubs, but even when it comes to clubs, there are certain clubs that you might go to that you'll do better at that club than other clubs you've gone to. You want to choose your venues wisely, okay? You want to choose the areas that you game in, the areas of town wisely. When I started cutting my teeth on game in San Francisco, I would constantly do game at Union Square, right? That was just a place that I did very well at, right? One of my wingmen at the time, who's now married, I used to go out and do day game with him a lot, and he didn't do very well at Union Square for some reason. And I could see, he struggled to open targets at Union Square, but he did phenomenally well by the touristy spots like Fisherman's Wharf and Pier 39 in the Embarcadero area. He was phenomenal out there. He did really well, whereas I struggled in that area of town, right? So a lot of times we had to kind of take turns, we went to Union Square yesterday, let's go here today, let's go to my part of town. It's okay, that's fine. But you'll find that there are certain areas, certain places, certain parts of town that you'll do better in than others. Okay, so you have to choose your venues, your locations where you game at wisely. All right. And the third and most important way that you are going to lower your flake rate, and that I've lowered my flake rate dramatically, especially over the last few years with social media and everything just occupying these girls' minds. This is the most important way you're going to lower your flake rate, is you need to stop going for numbers, and you need to start going for instant dates. Okay, we call it an Insta date, whereas you meet a girl, and instead of getting her number, to go on a date with her, to ask her out, you go on a date right then and there. You ask her out right then and there. And this is something that I've been teaching my my mastery students for the last few years now. Okay, this is something that I wouldn't have taught, say, even just 10 years ago. This is something that I teach these days for when you're out there and you're out there approaching girls, is don't go for the number, go for the instant date, right? And it doesn't mean you need to take her to a rock concert or to dinner or to a movie or anything like that. I mean, as soon as you meet the girl, wherever you are, right, wherever you are, there's generally like a coffee shop you could go to nearby, like a Starbucks or a Pete's Coffee, or if there's a mall nearby, anywhere you could think of, you know, you want to go on an instant date with her where you could sit and get to know her better, right? But you want to move locations too, because you don't want to just stand in the pickup location. And this is something I teach in Mastery too, is you want to bounce the girl to a new location, because psychologically in her mind, the more places you bounce to together, the more she's going to feel like you are a couple. The more she's going to feel comfortable with you, and you're going to feel like familiar to her, to the point where when it's time to end your little Insta date, when it's time to part ways, even though she just met you that day, when you hit her up and you ask her out, the chances of her flaking, especially if she enjoyed your company, is going to be practically zero, right? Assuming you did everything right, you didn't freak her out, you weren't acting socially awkward, she's not going to flake on you, because she's going to feel like, oh, I already went out with this guy, it's not a big deal. Oh yeah, I feel like I already know him, because you've talked about everything that you need to talk about together. You know, you've gone through a lot of the initial get to know you conversation during your Insta date, to whereas like the next time you see her, you're probably going to get physical. You might even like sex close her, right? A lot of times you'll do that just because she'll feel like, wow, I've already been out with this guy. I already feel comfortable with him. I already feel like we're kind of going out, right? So that is the third and most important way that you are going to lower your flake rate, is you want to stop going for numbers, and instead you want to start going for Insta dates. I mean, when it comes to numbers, I don't even ask the girl anymore. I don't even want to know her number. There are times where the girl's like, here, take my number now. And I'm like, no, I don't want, no, not yet, girl. Take your time. Relax, right? What are you doing right now? What do you mean, what am I doing right now? Like, yeah, do you have like a couple of minutes? Yeah, I usually tell a girl like, hey, do you have a couple of minutes, right? You don't want to say like, oh, do you have like a couple of hours to hang out with me? No, do you have a couple of minutes? Like, let's go grab some coffee. It'll take 2 seconds, right? I always tell a girl like, oh, it'll take 2 seconds. Come down to the Starbucks with me. You know, I'll buy you a Frappuccino or something. I'll get you a coffee. Coffee's like $2, right? It's not a big deal. Then you bounce together. And a lot of times as we're going to the next location together, whether it be a coffee shop or say we're just gonna go window shopping, I'll grab the girl's hand and I'll start holding her hand. So already I will start escalating with the girl physically. And obviously you want to calibrate, right? Don't just grab her hand if nothing's there, or if she's still kind of like weirded out by the fact that you approached her out of nowhere. All right, work into it. Remember, the entire game is calibration. But like I said, instead of going for the number, you want to go for the Insta date. And while you're with her on the Insta date, assuming things are going well, before you part ways, that is when you get her phone number. Okay, you don't do it upon approaching her. You don't do it like as soon as you start heading off on your Insta date. You do it at the end of your Insta date. Okay, when it's time to part ways, you're like, all right, let's switch numbers now. Now we can, because now I feel like we know each other. You know, a lot of times I'll tell the girl, if she tries to give me her number early, I'm like, hey, I don't take numbers from strangers. We don't even know each other. And the reason why I tell her that is because I know even if she gives me her number and I take it and we part ways, I try to text her, she's going to flake, because she doesn't know me. I don't know her. I'm just going to be some random dude in her phone that's going to feed her attention like all the other beta orbiters in her life. And I don't want to be that. Okay, I want to be more than that. And this is the number one reason why 99% of you guys get flaked on, is because you just go up to the girl, you know, kudos for having the courage to go up to her, but you get her number and then you bounce. You think that like, oh, I got her number, it's good, I'm gravy now, it's all good now, it's gravy. No, you know, you need more than that. I mean, these days, unfortunately, that's just not enough. You know, a lot of these hot chicks are giving their numbers out all day long. It means nothing. This is why you want to take her out on the Insta date. You want to try to get her out with you right then and there, right? Because a lot of you guys hit me up when you're already in damage control. Damage control, you do a shitty approach, right? You do a shitty approach. You don't establish any connection with her. You don't build any rapport with her, You know, you don't demonstrate high value. You know, you don't give the girl any reasons to want to see you again, other than, hey, you approached her and she gave her number to you. Right? Even a girl who's a 5 or a 6 is gonna flake on you, right? And say you're an 8 in looks and she's just a 5 or 6, she'll flake on you. She's like, I mean, she's not, you know, she's not hot, but she's cute enough at a 5 or 6, probably, you know, she might have a cute smile or something like that. She has guys hitting her up. She doesn't need to, like, you know, show up to your date. She'll flake. So the best way to go about it is to not focus on numbers, but focus on Insta dates. Because there's no better time to get the girl out on a date than when she's right in front of you, right? And it bugs the shit out of me. It really annoys me when I get a newbie student out on program and he gets a girl, like he's like having a great interaction with her. He's got her to the hook point and she's got those Bambi eyes. She's like, you know, we used to call it the doggy dinner bowl look in the pickup community. She's like, you know, she's like so into this guy, right? And the guy, like, because he's inexperienced, he's like, all right, girl, give me that number. And she's like, okay. And she's all into him, and she really genuinely does want to see him again at that time, but she still doesn't really know him. So she gives him her number, wanting to see him at that time, like that she's giving him her number. And then a few hours pass, a couple of days pass, and out of sight, out of mind. She forgets all about him. And then when he hits her up, like, hey girl, remember me? It's me. I picked you up, remember, a couple of days ago at 3rd Street Promenade. She's like, oh yeah, hi. Oh yeah, what are you doing later? Do you want to go out? And then she makes some excuse. No, I can't later. I don't feel good. Or no, maybe tomorrow. Then she flakes on him again and again and again. And then it gets to the point where she's just not even responding anymore. Right? So we want to prevent that from happening. And the way you prevent that is by getting the girl out on a date right then and there when she's right in front of you. There's no better time to get the girl on a date than when she's standing right in front of you. Okay, that is the absolute best time to get her out on a date. And this is why I tell you guys, don't go for numbers, go for Insta dates. Okay, and with that said, those are the top 3 ways that I lowered my flake rate to 0 in 2019. And these are the top 3 ways that you can lower your own flake rate in 2020 and beyond. All right, so until next time, this is M from the 33 Secrets. Do not forget to smash that like button below. Also hit that notification bell right next to it so that you're notified whenever I release a brand new coaching video here on the YouTube. And more importantly, guys, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. I know lately YouTube has been unsubscribing you guys from my channel, so please make sure you are still subscribed to my channel. Very important. And also make sure you share my coaching videos with other like-minded red pill friends of yours so we could really start spreading this knowledge out there, right? Let's spread this red pill knowledge out to other guys and awaken more guys, get more guys woke, because that's what we're here to do, right? We're not only here to date beautiful women, but we're also here to get more guys woke to this knowledge. And for you guys who want to support my work and all of this red pill content even further, the best way to do that is by jumping into my monthly online coaching program, 7 Months to Mastery, where I am teaching guys just like you how to go out there and approach and close the youngest, hottest, and most beautiful looking women on the planet. I'm talking about 8s, 9s, and 10s, the type of women that you will not find in your social circle and you will not find at the bars and clubs, but only the venues that I teach you to go to in 7 Months to Mastery, right? And you're gonna learn skills that your parents, teachers, and society failed to teach you. You're gonna learn skills that only an experienced pickup artist can teach you. And I'm one of the world's best, okay? I'm one of the best pickup artists in the world. I've been doing this my entire adult life. I've taught thousands upon thousands of men all around the world how to approach and close high value, high caliber, beautiful women. It's crazy to think, but many of these guys have gone on to get married. Like hey, I'm not advocating marriage, by the way. That's completely up to you, right? I'm not for it or against it, right? As I always tell you guys, if you're gonna go that route, just be careful. But a lot of my students have gone on to get married because they just found like a bomb-ass girl, a cool-ass chick that they want to spend the rest of their lives with. And a lot of these guys have had kids now, crazy. And they send me photos. They're like, oh my God, Em, thank you. It's all because of you. You know, guys that were in my program, even just a few years ago, are sending me photos from their wedding, their kids that they've had. I've got students from the late 90s, the early 2000s who now have kids that are like in high school. They're like entering college. It's just insane to me, right? It's insane to me that these guys like have taken it that far. But you know, this is some really powerful knowledge I'm teaching you in 7 months of mastery. And it's knowledge that you can use not only to attract young, beautiful women into your life, but it's knowledge that you can use in every area of your life. Because as I always teach you guys, pickup is life. Everything out there is pickup. Whether you're buying a brand new car, you're buying a house, you're negotiating, or you're just trying to get better service at your favorite restaurant. Everything is pickup, okay? Every single human interaction, okay? Anytime you communicate with another human being, you're doing pickup, right? As I said, life is pickup. So it's very, very imperative you learn this stuff. This is the #1 most powerful skill in the world. I kid you not. Okay, and it saddens me that a lot of guys just dismiss it because all they see is what's on the surface. Like, oh, pickup doesn't work anymore. Oh, PUA is a scam, you know? And it's like, dude, do you seriously think I would have spent my entire adult life doing this if it was a scam, if it didn't work? Are you serious? No, I would have quit a long time ago, but this stuff is that powerful. Right? So if you want to jump into 7 months of mastery, the first month is only $1 for the entire first month of coaching lessons. So take advantage of it. It's the absolute best way to support my work. Okay? And all you need to do is click that link below in my description box. It will take you over to my website where you can get signed up right now. It just takes 2 seconds. So do that now, and I will see you in my next coaching video.